Good morning again, precious friends. Thanks for joining the Carnivore Hippie once again. So I'm thinking about the holidays. Very few things can derail us on our health journey like the holidays can. Celebratory foods are everywhere, and most of them are things that we're thinking we're better off not eating. But it's really difficult to make the decision to stick to what you've planned. So what do? Do you just throw up your hands and say, well, I'll get back on the wagon after January 1st? Or do you try to stick to your plan and risk being awkward at social events? So what do? Well, I'll tell you what I've done has worked for me. Now, it is true. I have had a very, very supportive family, and I realize not everybody has that blessing. But there are some strategies that you can use. If you've decided you want to stay on the wagon and make it through the holidays without triggering a binge, without feeling icky, or you just want to stay on your plan because you just want to feel the pride of having done that. For whatever reason, here's some things that you can do. First of all, if you're going to social occasions, those can be the most difficult. If you're at home, you can control everything that comes into your house. So you're usually safe at home. But what if you're going out? What if you're going to a party? And there's going to be lots of stuff there, and you just don't want to eat any of it. And you're kind of afraid that not imbibing or partaking the way everybody else likely will create some awkwardness or even some tension. Well, I say what has helped me is address it head on beforehand. So if you know the host of the party, or if you suspect the host of the party is going to be someone who will be amenable to listening to you, you might want to just go to them and say, I just wanted to let you know that I don't want to be awkward, but I've made this change. I feel great. And I just wanted to warn you that if I don't eat some of the food you're serving, it's not because I don't like it. It's just because I've found this way of eating that makes me feel so wonderful, and I just don't want to go off the wagon on the holidays. 99% of the time, that person who's hosting the party is going to be right with you. And then you tell them, I appreciate your support, just knowing you're in my corner. You don't even have to say anything. Just knowing you're in my corner is going to be of great help to me. That's one thing you can do. Second thing you can do, if you don't feel like you can talk to the host of the party for whatever reason, either you don't know them very well, or maybe there's somebody who's very sensitive about what they serve and gets irritated if people don't appreciate it. Yeah. The second thing you can do is you go to the party and just decide that these are the things that you're going to eat. And don't even say anything. Just put what you're willing to eat on your plate and sit down, and don't act like there's nothing unusual going on. If it's a buffet style, just serve yourself what you're willing to eat. If it is a situation where you're sitting at a table and dishes are being passed, simply say no thank you politely to whatever it is you don't want to eat, and act like there's absolutely nothing unusual going on. You don't owe anybody any guilt, and you don't owe anybody the favor of eating things that you know are not good for you, okay? If you're being served a plate full of food, which occasionally happens, then just eat what you're willing to eat. And again, the key is you just act like there is absolutely nothing unusual going on. The majority of the time, nobody's even going to say anything, all right? Because deep down, most people know intrinsically that you're an individual and you have the right to eat what you want and don't eat what you don't want. All right, so just go for it like there's nothing unusual going on. That's the key. Now, if somebody does say, oh, well, wouldn't you like some ABC, some mashed potatoes or some sweet potato casserole or some bread or whatever? Whatever you do in that situation, when somebody offers you something, do not say, oh, I would love to, but I can't because diet. Don't do that. Because that will trigger almost automatically a nurturing or placative response from the, excuse me, my face itches again. That will that will elicit a nurturing or placative reflex from the person you're talking to. All right? We're social critters. These social cues are very largely hardwired in us. Okay? It's just the way it is. If you act like you're unhappy with the food on your plate, the first thing the person talking to you is going to do is try to make you feel better. And the way they perceive that's going to make you feel better is to encourage you to eat the food that you apparently want, but have denied yourself. So don't ever at a party, oh, I wish I could, but I can't because whatever. Don't. Just avoid doing that altogether. If you're frustrated and you want to gripe about how difficult the diet is, despite the fact that it makes you feel great, do not do it at the party where there's lots of food that you shouldn't be eating. Find another venue to do that, okay? Find a friend, find a group, find somebody that knows you, knows what you're doing, and is willing to listen to you gripe and be frustrated, all right? Don't do it at the party. Don't. So what you do want to do when someone offers you something is you smile. As big as you can smile and say, oh, thank you, but no, I'm really happy with what I have, thank you. And drop it. And that will almost always satisfy the person who's talking to you. They have fulfilled the ancestral social contract of checking in on you and making sure you're fine. And they'll move on. Right? Easy. Thirdly, what you can do, if someone gets a little pushy or really, oh, are you sure? It's really good. You don't want to change your mind and find out it's all gone. You sure you don't just want to taste? Now, what's important here is to keep in mind and understand that this person is not trying to sabotage you. Even if they are, make the decision not to believe that because it will help you. The person is not attempting to sabotage you. All right? The person, for whatever reason, may be uncomfortable with the fact that you're not doing the same as everybody else in the group is doing. All right? And it's important for you to understand that this also is absolutely normal for social animals like human beings. Okay? They are probably completely unaware that they're being offensive to you. So again, same thing. Smile. Oh, I appreciate that. I would love some, but it just doesn't agree with me. So thank you anyway. Again, 90% of the time, that will be enough to just end the interlude. And again, I cannot stress this enough. You behave as though what you're doing is absolutely and perfectly normal and nothing out of the ordinary. And by far the majority of people that you'll be interacting with will take your cue and behave exactly the same way. You may get some good-natured questions, but that's okay. Because if you get good-natured questions, then you can share, oh, I've been on this diet and I realize it looks kind of strange, but it makes me feel so awesome. And that'll just make the whole thing more positive. The last thing is, if you get somebody who for some reason is really uncomfortable with the fact that you're doing what you're doing, this will happen on occasion. It's not as common as people are afraid that it's going to be, but it does happen, right? And if someone gets unpleasant, it is very important that you understand deeply and intrinsically, you don't owe this person anything. If this person is unpleasant, it's because they have a problem, not because you have a problem. It's their problem, and you don't need to fix it. You don't owe them anything except to be polite in social company. So you say to them, oh, well, I appreciate it, but I've decided to change my way of eating, and it makes me feel so wonderful that I just don't want to mess it up by eating things that I know are going to bother me, no matter how delicious they are. But I appreciate your concern, and drop it. Don't get angry. Don't get defensive, right? That will not serve you. That will simply escalate the unpleasantness. Okay? I guarantee you that if you remain calm and cordial, you will create an atmosphere where people around you will feel supportive of you, right? If somebody's picking on you and you remain polite, somebody will probably stand up at some point and say, you know what? Leave them alone. They don't have to eat what they don't want to eat, right? And on the off chance, on the rare occasion that somebody gets really unpleasant and just won't let it go, all right? That is when you have every right, and keep this in mind, you have every right to firmly but politely put your foot down. And you don't owe anybody to eat anything that you don't want to eat. Period. End of sentence. That's it. So you look them in the eye. Do not get angry. Do not get defensive. If you have to rehearse this, please do. Maybe we'll do a meditation about it upcoming very, very soon, where we can project this into the future and practice remaining calm. But for now, what you want to say is look them in the eye and say, I hear you. I appreciate what you're trying to say, but I don't tell anybody else how to eat, and I don't expect anybody else to tell me how to eat. And if you'd like to go in the other room and have a private conversation about it, I'm willing to, but I don't intend to get unpleasant over food at this party. And then drop it. 99% of the time, that will be enough. And your polite response to the person who's being unpleasant is going to create allies in the room with you. Guarantee there's going to be somebody there who recognizes the inappropriateness of the unpleasant person and the absolute appropriateness of your response. You will have allies. You will have support, right? The trick is, don't get angry and defensive and become unpleasant in return. That can be very, very hard to do. I understand, but you can do it. And lastly, on the very, very off chance and on the very, very rare occasion that the situation gets so unpleasant that you find yourself losing your temper, or you just can't control yourself anymore, or it just becomes so unpleasant that you're done, just remember, you don't owe this person anything. You do not owe them to be placated. You don't owe them to make them feel better. You don't owe them anything. You don't owe them anything over what you owe yourself to remain on your health journey as you have determined to take it. All right, so if things just get that unpleasant and the one person or another just won't allow the subject to be dropped, you say, well, I'm sorry, but I just don't intend to be unpleasant today, and I think I'm going to excuse myself. Thank you all to the people who have been trying to have a good time. Thank you all, and I think I'll just excuse myself. And pick up your stuff and leave. Now, people might try to get you to stay. If this elicits a promise from the unpleasant person to change their behavior and you would like to trust that and stay, by all means stay. But if you're done and you decide, no, I'm really sorry, I'm in a really, really unpleasant mood now, and I think I just need to go because I don't want to become unpleasant at the party. Thank you. And just go. And don't let anybody's bad attitude deter you from doing what you need to do to remain in control and to remain on an even keel. Okay? So that's how I have handled it in the past. And you know what? It almost never goes past like stage 3, oh, are you sure? You sure you don't want some? If you handle it the way I suggest, I will bet you $1 million, and you'd probably lose, that it won't escalate to anything unpleasant. Everybody will eventually get the idea that you just don't want to eat it, and they'll realize it's not that big a deal. And you'll just be able to pass the rest of the party in peace and with good feelings. Now, one other thing you can do before the party happens is you can try, if you think there's a family member that is supportive of what you're doing, who plans to attend the party, perhaps you can say, could you be my wingman? Could you be my backup? If I get tempted to eat something I shouldn't, would you be there for me to talk to and lean on? And if you don't have a family member that you can trust with that, see if you can bring a friend to the party. I know my family has always been really open to extra guests at Thanksgiving. So, and many families are. The more the merrier. So try that. If you're really afraid that things might pop off, grab a wingman and make it a duo. Okay? So that's how I deal with it. And I have had such a good response with this. I generally get a lot of interested, good-natured questions when I talk about what I've been doing. I generally get really positive responses, and actually I have gotten a surprising amount of encouragement. Alrighty? So don't be afraid of the gatherings. If you're determined to stay on the wagon, despite the holiday parties, you go. You can do it. Use these strategies, and I will bet you will have a great time, and there won't be any of the unpleasantness that you're afraid or awkwardness that you're afraid of. Okay? That's it for now. I hope this has been helpful. If you have any other questions, drop me a comment, like, share, subscribe, all of that good, happy stuff. And I will talk to you again really soon. Peace, love, and meat. Bye-bye.